So sorry, we had some technical issues. Okay, I'll just repeat myself. First, I'll start with making a ganache filling. Okay, so it's a very simple recipe. It's just chocolate and cream. All you have to do is heat your cream and pour it over your chocolate until your chocolate melts. Okay. Now you can see your cream has started heating up. You stop and you pour it over your chocolate. Okay. Let your chocolate sit in with the cream. Okay, with the heat of the cream it will start melting. Just leave it for a couple of minutes.
Chef, which brand chocolate is this?
I've used Caliboo, the brand of Caliboo. It's a 811 variant. It's dark chocolate. If you're making variations of milk chocolate or white chocolate, the quantity of your chocolate would change. I have mentioned that in the recipe card for you. Okay, the quantity of cream would remain the same, but the quantity of chocolate would differ. Okay, so you could change that accordingly. Okay, now if you see,
which cream is this?
Which cream are we using?
This is the Ellenville. It's a dairy based cream. Okay, now if you see with the heat of your cream, the chocolate will start melting. I will just change to a whisk.
Chef, what is the ratio of the ganache?
See, the ratio of your ganache would differ. This is about 40% of your chocolate and 45% of your chocolate, and the remaining is cream. Okay, I do not want a very stiff ganache. I want a nice soft ganache wherein when I level it over my cake, it is soft and pliable for me. I do not have to overwork or keep melting my chocolate ganache all the time. Okay, now if you see, it's a really nice and smooth mixture. Okay, now the ganache is done. But one thing you need to keep in mind before you use your ganache, it has to be left overnight of at least for a couple of hours for it to crystallize. Okay, right now it is still too soft. You cannot use it directly. You leave it to crystallize so it firms up a little, and then it is ready for you to use. So I will just put a cling wrap over this and keep it aside. Okay. Also, when you cling wrap it, make sure you touch the surface so that there is no skin formation over your ganache and it's nice and smooth. Okay, this is to be kept aside overnight. The next one that we'll be making is your Swiss buttercream. Okay, so this buttercream is a meringue based buttercream. So first we will have to make your Swiss meringue, into which we will add softened butter. Okay, so for that we have egg whites, this softened butter. Okay, not melted, room temperature soft butter. If you see the consistency, it has to be nice and pliable. It makes your work much easier when you are incorporating it into the meringue.
Chef, can we make buttercream eggless?
You could use aquafaba. Okay, so for this, the process you begin with, you add in the egg whites into your KitchenAid bowl or into whichever bowl you will be making your meringue in. Then you add in the sugar. Now you give it a good mix. Okay, right now if you see the consistency of this mixture is going to be very thick. Okay, and if you touch it, it's going to be very granular because of your sugar. Okay, now this mixture, we are going to put it on a double boiler. Okay, we'll put it over a double boiler and cook this mixture till about 65 to 70 degrees. The reason you do this is to pasteurize your egg whites since you cannot consume it raw. So cooking it to 65-70 degrees, you make sure that your the egg whites are pasteurized and you can continue with your process of making your buttercream.
How long can you store the ganache and where?
Your ganache can be stored in the refrigerator if you are not going to use it immediately. Ideally, even if you leave it outside in an air-conditioned room for at least a day or two, it remains fine. If you leave it in a refrigerator, you want to make sure that you remove it outside before you use it, at least a couple of hours before, so that it becomes soft and it is ready for you to use. Okay, now this mixture you bring it up to 65-70 degrees. If you do not have a thermometer for this, you just want to make sure that the sugar in the egg whites is completely dissolved. You could touch the egg mixture and feel it in between your fingers. If it is coarse, which means it still needs to cook a little more.
Someone has asked, did you keep the eggs overnight to mature?
No, nothing as such. I just used fresh eggs just before I could start the session right now. Okay, also when you do this, you want to make sure that the water in your pan is not touching the bowl. Okay, because you do not want to cook or scramble the egg whites. You just want to make sure that the sugar inside it is dissolved. Okay, now this mixture has come to its desired temperature. Okay, even after you remove it off the heat, just give it a little mix because the bowl will still retain certain amount of heat. If you just leave it aside, the egg whites will start, just cooking by itself. Okay, now if you see, this mixture is quite runny as compared to what it looked before. That's because all the sugar in this has dissolved completely. Okay, now what we are going to do is,
there is a question, if we want to add any fresh puree in Swiss buttercream, what should be the ratio?
so ideally any liquid that you add to any buttercream, it should be less than half the quantity of what your buttercream is. So if your buttercream is about 100 grams, your liquid should be less than 50 grams. The reason being, the buttercream won't hold a lot of liquid, and even if you are using, you'll have to make a reduction of whichever fruit puree, so that it's easier for it to be incorporated into your buttercream. Okay, now this meringue, we beat it till it is up to stiff peaks, and it has to be completely cooled. Only then will you add in your butter. Okay, if you add in your butter when your meringue is warm or it is hot, what will happen is your butter will start melting, and instead of a butter cream, you will have a very soupy consistency, which is not really desired. So you want to make sure that after you whip this meringue to stiff peaks, you only add in your butter once it is completely cooled to room temperature.
What temperature did we cook the egg whites to?
Between 65 to 70.
to use?
If you're using granulated sugar, it will take a longer time for it to dissolve. I would suggest to use caster sugar. If you do not have that, you could just take your granulated sugar, put it in your mixie and just give it a pulse so that the size of your sugar is reduced. And you could use that to make your meringue. It's completely fine. It dissolves very easily. You could also just check on your meringue once. Okay, right now if you see, if I lift the whisk, the meringue is very soft. Okay, this is the soft consistency or soft peak of your meringue. This needs to whip up until it is nice and stiff.
Is it possible to make meringue without egg whites?
You could use akbaba.
Can you give tips on normal buttercream?
It's ideally called as your American buttercream, which is very sweet honestly. It is just plain sugar and butter. Ideally the ratios taken for your American buttercream is 1 part of butter with 2 parts of icing sugar. Okay, so you can imagine how sweet that buttercream is. The thing with your Italian buttercream or your Swiss buttercream, it doesn't really taste very sweet. Also when you make your American buttercream, it is quite coarse. It's not very smooth in texture, but your meringue based buttercreams are really nice, smooth and fluffy when you are layering it, and also when you consume it, it gives you very good mouthfeel. So that's about your...
Can we use icing sugar?
So, not really. It's better if you have granulated sugar. You can just toast it up in your mixie and use it in place of caster sugar. The way your icing sugar works is completely different, and it's not desirable when you make a meringue.
What should be the speed while whipping?
You could go in between medium to high speed. It's not a problem, because I also, while mixing, I want to make sure that my meringue cools down before I add in the softened butter. So I've kept it in between medium to high speed. Also, one thing you could do is, if you are making a bigger batch of buttercream where you have a larger quantity of your meringue and it doesn't cool very quickly. Okay, so what you could do is, once you have achieved the stiff peak in your meringue, you could just leave it in your refrigerator for a couple of minutes. Nothing will happen to your meringue, not to worry. You could leave it in your refrigerator. Once it is cooled down to room temperature, then you could again put it back onto your machine, give it a mix once, and then add in your softened butter.
Can we do this with a hand beater?
You could do it with a hand beater also, not a problem. Again, I will just stop to show you the consistency of my meringue. Okay, right now it has become a little stiff compared to what it was before. Okay, it looks very marshmallow like. Okay, now if I lift it, it is still, it's between medium peaks right now. Okay, it still needs a little more of a whisk for it to become to reach the stiff peaks that I want.
What is the difference between Swiss and Italian buttercream?
The process of how you function with it. If you read the recipe clearly, the ingredients are not different, the quantities also are not different. It's just the way you process the egg whites and the sugar is what gives you two different types of your buttercream.
Will this buttercream harden after piping?
If you leave it in the refrigerator, yes. If it's out in your room temperature, not really. Okay, now you see when I lift the meringue, it is quite stiff. It is not as soft as it looked before. It's not bending quite. Okay, now once you achieve the peaks, you want to check if the meringue is, if it's down to your room temperature. If not, just leave it in the refrigerator for a couple of minutes. This one now is perfectly fine for me to use. So I will go ahead and add in the softened butter.
Can we pipe flowers with this buttercream?
You could, but I would prefer you pipe. If you're making flowers, you could use the Italian buttercream because it is more stable, for it to retain shape as compared to the Swiss buttercream. The Swiss buttercream becomes a very good option between layering your cakes and frosting it because it's very nice and smooth. It's quite fluffy in texture. If you want to pipe anything out of your buttercream, it's best to use Italian.
How to pick hard buttercream?
You leave it out room temperature, it will soften up. Once it's out room temperature, it's soft enough, then again you could put it in your KitchenAid and just mix it once, whip it up once so that it's nice and smooth. Okay, now if you see, I added the butter. Okay, you do not add all the butter at once. You add in gradually because you want to make sure that each time you add your butter, it is incorporated evenly with your meringue. Okay, again, your butter has to be soft and room temperature. If you use cold butter, it will your mixture will end up looking split. Okay, so it's very important that you use soft room temperature butter.
What is the shelf life of buttercream?
If you leave it out in air conditioned room, it stays for about 2 days. If you leave it in your refrigerator, it stays for about a week. And if you want to keep it even more longer, you could keep it in your freezer. It stays for a good 4 to 6 months. Only thing is, before you use it, you'll have to again, as I mentioned earlier, you'll have to remove it out, bring it down to room temperature, mix it up again once in your machine, and then it's ready for you to use. But never whip the buttercream when it is cold. It will start forming lumps and it will look split. It won't look smooth. also make sure that you just keep cleaning the sides of your bowl, because the butter will tend to stick to it all the time. So now when you ask about adding in purees, this is the time when you would add any flavors, any essence, any extracts that you want. Once you're done with your butter incorporation, now is the time when you will add any additional flavors or purees that you want to add in your butter cream. Also, once you just get it off your KitchenAid and mix it right until the bottom, because sometimes the meringue tends to stick at the base. Okay, so you give it a mix completely and whip it up again. Once your buttercream is ready, okay, it will come together like this. Okay, it's really nice and smooth. Before you use it, you want to make sure that you change the paddle for the attachment from the whisk to a paddle, just to remove out any extra air bubbles and to smoothen out your buttercream mixture. Okay, your buttercream is done. I'll just leave this aside now. The next we will start with your Italian buttercream. Okay, for your Italian buttercream, you have to first make your meringue. My Italian meringue the process starts by cooking your sugar with a little amount of water. Okay, you cook it up to 116 to 118 degrees Celsius. the egg whites into your KitchenAid bowl here. Okay, you could start your egg whites on a very slow speed as of now. You could increase the speed once the sugar reaches about 100 or 110 degrees. Then you could increase the speed a little. Right now it's on my lowest speed on the stand. Sure that the sugar is completely submerged with the water. Okay, so I will cook this to about 116 degrees. When you start with making your syrup, you keep it on a medium to low heat because you want your sugar to dissolve completely as you make your syrup. What happens is if you keep it at a very high heat in the beginning itself, the temperature would increase but the sugar doesn't dissolve properly. So you want to make sure that it is completely dissolved. So I keep it at a medium to low heat first, then I would increase the temperature.
What is the substitute of egg in buttercream? Egg white in buttercream?
Already mentioned you could use aquafaba. That's the best substitute for your egg substitute that you could use.
So, the temperature?
Between 116 to 118 is good for making your Italian meringue. Okay, now I pour this syrup into this egg white mixture. Again needs to whip up till it is nice and crispy. Okay, and then the process remains the same. Once it is nice and stiff, then you add in your softened butter. Okay, so I will show you the meringue process and then I will continue with filling and layering my cake. The Italian meringue will take slightly longer for it to whip up properly and also to cool down. So while this is happening, I will just continue with layering and sealing and coating your cake. Okay. First, to begin with, I will show you what all you need before you start with layering your cake. Okay. These are a few tools and equipment that you would need. Okay. These are called your offset spatulas or a bent palette knife. It makes it easier when you are leveling your cake or you are covering your cake from the side because of this edge. Okay. The other one is again a palette knife which is flat. It doesn't have a bend. And these two are again the palette knives but smaller variants and different shapes. I'm also going to use scraper in case I want to remove out any excess buttercream frosting from the side. For my cake, you could use an acrylic board or if you have, you could use the cake board, the cardboard bases as well, whichever is available for you to use. Okay. Also, what I have here is a turntable which makes it easier for me to level my cake. At the same time, when I am coating the cake from the side, it becomes easy and convenient. And I have a sugar syrup which I have made. It's a simple sugar syrup, equal quantities of water and sugar. You just put it in your pan and you just bring it up to a boil and let it cool before you use it. Now first I will start with applying a little buttercream on the base of my board. Whether it's an acrylic or cardboard, you need to apply a little buttercream and then stack your first layer, making sure that when you are covering and working with your cake, it doesn't move about. buttercream that we've made. If you can see, it's nice, smooth and glossy. Okay, first I will start with a little of this buttercream and onto my base. So whenever you're using your palette knife, you make sure you move from side to side. Whenever you lift it, it becomes very uneven. So whenever you want to level anything using your palette knife, make sure you move it from one side to the other. Okay, my meringue is still quite warm, so I'll just leave it aside till it cools down completely. We'll continue with layering our cake. Okay, so I will stack my first layer. You want to make sure that it is completely in the center. Okay, so that once you have built your entire cake, it looks even from all sides. Okay. Once this is done, you take the sugar syrup and you soak your sponge a little. The reason you do this is it being a sponge base cake, it absorbs in moisture from the fillings otherwise, let it be buttercream or ganache. If you do not add in the syrup and moisten your cake a little, it will take in the moisture from whatever filling you are adding into it. So it is better that you use a simple syrup and soak your sponge a little. Now you don't want to over soak it. Over soaking also will end up in a very soft sponge. What will happen then is it won't take the weight of the fillings and the layers that you will stack over it. So you want to soak it enough. Do not over soak it. Okay, also make sure you coat the edges a little. Okay, now the first layer of soaking is done. Now you will take a little buttercream and you put it in the center of your cake. Now ideally people also use ice cream scoopers or measuring cups just so that they get even fillings and even quantity of fillings in each layer. You could do that, or also just measure each the filling each time you are layering your cake. Now what you want to do here is spread your cake buttercream all over your cake. Okay. Now this is where your turntable becomes easier for you to work with. So I keep my hand steady and all I do is keep moving my turntable, which makes my work easier. Any excess buttercream you could scrape and use it in the place where you feel it is a little uneven. Okay, now this is done. The next layer, okay, now when you place the next layer of your sponge, you just look at it from from a height, making sure that it is in line with the sponge which is below. Otherwise what will happen is if you have uneven stacking of your cake layers, your cake, the structure won't be stable in the end. So you have to make sure that it is in proper shape. Okay, now this is done. Just give it a press slightly so that your layers stick to each other. Okay, again I will continue with the same process of soaking the cake with a little of simple syrup.
what all the fillings can be done with this buttercream?
Like I said, you could add any essence, extracts. If you want to use fruit purees, you will have to reduce your purees a little. You cannot add a lot of liquid into your buttercream. If you want a chocolate variant, you could add a little melted chocolate in your buttercream, give it a mix, and you have a good chocolate buttercream to go. Okay, the next one, I will show you if you have to if you have to add a filling in between your cake, how you do it. Okay, I have a piping bag. I will add in some buttercream into my piping bag here. Now I have a buttercream in my piping bag. Also, I had a little jam. It's raspberry jam that I will be adding in between the layer. Okay, now whenever you add anything like this, whether it's a jam or a berry compote or any custard filling that you want to add in between your cake, you will have to go through this process of first building a ball around your cake. Okay, don't worry if you have a gap like this, just go about and pipe some buttercream there. Okay, now what this does is, when I add in my extra filling, now this being jam, it will make sure that the filling is in between my layer only, and it doesn't seep on the exteriors of my cake, which will make frosting your cake very difficult. Okay, so I will just take this and level it out. Okay, now at this point, if you want to add any fruits, berries, any nuts, anything that you want to add, you could add in between your layers like this, and just level it properly. Okay, now I will go in with my final layer of my cake. Okay, now if you see, if I press the final layer, I will not have any jam that is seeping out. Okay, so that's the reason I built the wall of buttercream, so that whatever filling is there stays inside. Again, check if all your layers are even. Continue with the same step of you soaking the cake sponge with a little bit of syrup. Again, this is, as I mentioned, it's a simple syrup. If you want to flavor your syrup, you could infuse it with any fruit peels, any spices that you want. You could infuse it also into this sugar syrup. Okay, now once this is done, my cake is ready for me to crumb coat. Now why crumb coating is done is, if you look clearly at my cake board and around my cake, you will see small bits of crumbs. Okay, now if I directly start frosting my cake, what will happen is these crumbs will be carried with my frosting, and the frosting will look very uneven and unfinished with tiny bits and pieces of cake inside it. So basically what you do by crumb coating is locking in all these crumbs in place, so that your cake is ready for you to finish with your desired frosting and desired decoration that you want for your cake. Okay, now the same buttercream that I have here, I will add in over my cake. Okay. Now I will take my offset spatula, which makes it easier for me to level on top of my cake. Okay, now all you want to do here is create a very thin coating of your buttercream. Okay, all the excess buttercream can be dropped down to the sides. Okay, now you see, now I will start coating the sides of my cake. Now one thing that makes your work easier is if you are holding your tool in the right hand, you always go on the opposite side to level and coat your cakes. It makes your work convenient rather than moving on the same side. Okay, so I will start with moving this buttercream layer in a motion of moving it front and backwards. Okay, if you see, if there are any gaps and spaces in between my buttercream, in between my cake layers, the buttercream is coating and filling in between it. Okay, now one thing, it doesn't have to be a very thick layer, so you can remove all the excess buttercream and keep coating it on the sides. Okay, this doesn't have to be very even looking or very neat. This is just your crumb coat. After this you will have your layer of frosting and decoration which will go over it. So you don't really have to bother much about it being too neat. Okay. Now if you see the coat, I can almost see the layer of my cake. Okay, so it's a very thin layer. Now if you see, there is a layer of buttercream which is on the top edge. So what I will do is take my spatula and just drag the buttercream in and remove the excess. Okay, clean the spatula again, drag it inwards, making sure all the excess buttercream is out. Okay, now what, if you see this, all my crumbs are coated with my buttercream and they are in place, so that now once this is done, once your crumb coating of your cake is done, this goes inside your refrigerator for at least a couple of minutes, at least for 25 to 30 minutes. The reason being, your butter will start firming up and it will be easy for you to have your frosting done around your cake. If there is any extra buttercream layer, you could clean that. Okay, this is done now. I can keep this in my refrigerator. Okay, keep this in the refrigerator. All this extra buttercream, it can be left out at room temperature for 2 days. By room temperature I mean an ambient temperature, an air conditioned room. If it is humid and hot where you stay, I will recommend you put it inside your chiller and you just remove it out before at least a couple of hours before till it's nice and soft. Paddle it and then it's ready for you to frost your cakes. Continue now with the buttercream, the Italian buttercream mixture. It's nice and cold now. smoothen out my meringue first. Now I will finish it by adding the softened buttercream again. Now if you compare both your buttercream, the Italian meringue buttercream is much stable in consistency. The reason being, you are cooking your sugar to a certain temperature, wherein once it is ready, it's kind of stable, but your Swiss meringue is not as stable as compared to your Italian buttercream. So you could use each of them according to the place you stay in, or whatever you like to have in between your cake, you could use it according to that. Okay, I add in the last batch of butter. Okay, now this again needs to whip up till all the butter is incorporated with your meringue and you have a nice smooth buttercream in the end. Again, the way you store this buttercream is same as what you would do to your Swiss buttercream, and it's the same way how you would work with it. It's the same. Okay, again you could check on your buttercream once. Okay, this buttercream again is done. If you see, it is nice and smooth. Before you start using it, you could just use a paddle to remove any extra air bubbles that are there present in your buttercream. we are done with both our buttercream fillings, your ganache. Any questions, any doubts that you guys have for today's session, please let me know.
Where to store this buttercream?
Okay, so any buttercream you make, it can be kept out in an air-conditioned room for about 2 days. If you store it in your refrigerator, it stays for at least 4 to 5 days. And if you keep it in the freezer, it stays for a good couple of months, at least 5 to 6 months. Only thing you have to keep in mind is when you remove the buttercream either from your chiller or freezer, you have to make sure it's at room temperature, paddle it up again and use it. Okay, so I hope you guys like the session for today. Tomorrow we have the continuing of how you frost and decorate your cake with Chef Nidhi. She's an alumni. So yeah, we're done with today's session. I hope you enjoyed it.